Welcome to another edition of Inside Guyana. Our cameraman today is Mr. Ravi and our producer, Prakash. In our studio today we have a very prominent Guyanese who has been involved in a lot of community activities, and I think he's a very good person to have. So please help me in welcoming to our program Inside Guyana, Mr. Mel Carpen. Welcome to the program Inside Guyana, Mr. Carpen.
Thank you.
We're very happy to have you in our studio today, sir.
I'm very happy to be here, Rudy, and thank you for the special invitation which you extended to me.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah.
One of the first questions that we would put to our guests on this program Inside Guyana is to introduce themselves, say a few words briefly about yourself. I know there's a lot to say about you, but what you would like to tell the people about yourself, you know, your little background, so they would know who they're talking, who they're listening to.
Although I've been involved with a lot of Guyanese activities in the Caribbean and Guyanese community, I'm a very private guy. And I don't say too much about myself because that doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm involved and I have Guyana in my heart. I've been in the United States since 1972 and was part of the original PEP group which started here in 1975. It was called the Committee for Democracy and Majority Rule. It was a group that was put together to harness the efforts of all Guyanese who were fighting for change and free and fair elections in Guyana.
So that was a PPP-based organization, is that correct?
That was the only and the first PPP-based organization in the United States.
But then I understand that you had an organization called the Association of Concerned Guyanese also, or was that organization you're mentioning there earlier, that is that like before the ACG or after?
It was way before the ACG. The ACG came about as a split that occurred in 1982. The split occurred because there are certain sections of the Committee for Democracy and Majority Rule who did not want to recruit folks who were not loyal to the PEP. And then there were some of us who wanted to recruit any Guyanese or anyone who wants to see democratic changes in Guyana. So based on that principle, we had a falling out. So at some point in time, those who did not want to recruit people other than Guyanese became the Association of Concerned Guyanese in the United States. And those of us who wanted to extend the membership to everyone who wants to see changes in Guyana, we became Committee for a Free Guyana.
So you had two organizations there.
Two organizations. This is 1982 and onward.
So I guess you, being one of the senior personality in these affairs, would have been able to occupy prominent positions or leading positions in these organizations. What are some of your roles?
Sure. There are a bunch of us who occupied leading positions, but remember we were a committee of workers working with different solidarity groups. The Committee for Free Guyana, we worked with some members of the ACG. We worked among the international solidarity groups like the Palestinians, the South Africans, people from different parts of the world who were fighting for changes in their respective countries. It was important that we worked among these solidarity groups because we made a lot of important friends, valuable friends for the PEP and for GAU. There are a lot of times I remember going to functions when Dr. Jagan would come or one of the leaders of the PEP, and there were more international people at some of those get-togethers other than Guyanese. Would you believe at one point in time, Guyanese did not support us 100%, or up to now they don't, but we relied a lot on our international contacts. The Jamaicans, the Grenadians, they supported us.
That's in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. The point I was going to make, the ACG today, and I'm not going to badmouth anyone, does not have those international contacts. Those contacts have been broken because of the fact that They don't know. They're all, new people who came aboard for some odd reason or another. A dear friend of mine called them Johnny-come-latelys. They didn't struggle or whatever, but they came. Most of them came in after 1992. And they're the ones who, our present leaders in Guyana, they're the ones who associate with the present leaders, take them to the restaurants, business deals that is not transparent and all that.
So you are actually saying that the Guyanese diaspora is not united, and you probably want to recommend that that should not be so. However, your knowledge of the history of the diaspora would be very important to learn from. Since you know the leaders, you mentioned that they were going out with some of the Guyanese politicians after '92, taking them there and incorporating them or introducing them to the people of suspicious character. Would you be able to shed some more light on that, sir?
Well,
Rat Singh, or Dr. whatever he calls himself, Dr. Rat Singh, was the head of the ACG.
Well,
he was a very good friend of yours, I want to believe.
Of who?
And then he left Guyana recently, and he became the CEO, Chief Executive Officer for the Guyana Sugar Corporation. So from the head of the ACG to that, so he was a member of your organization here probably.
Well, he became a member of ACG in the late 80s. I wouldn't be surprised if it was in 1990s when a lot of folks were beginning to see the change coming. That's when a lot of these new Johnny-come-latelys came into the movement. A lot of our original people, they migrated to other states, some went back to Guyana. So the newer people coming into the PUP group, they were the majority at one point. So folks like Rat Singh could have gotten into prominent positions. This thing about Rat Singh, I don't know why you mentioned it. I do have a historic dislike for him. I can't find a decent word to put it, because I think he's a phony. I think he's not qualified to be CEO.
No, but he has a doctorate degree. He calls himself doctor for no reason.
His diction contradicts that of a PhD. I don't think he's a doctorate. That's my opinion. Others have brought out evidence that he obtained a doctorate from a paper mill, a diploma mill that is no longer in business. His only qualifications, I think, for the job that he now holds, which is an important position, is because he's a friend of Barra Jagdeo and Donald Ramator. Someone is peddling the information that they suspect that Donald Ramator and Rat Singh are relatives. So his only qualifications for those jobs is because he's related to important people in Guyana, and you get what you pay for.
So he probably paid a lot, because that's a big job.
Well, I don't know if he paid, but I've never seen him make any financial contribution to the PUP struggle before 1992. I was very active. I've never seen him make any financial contribution. But what hurt me is having an unqualified person as head of one of Guyana's most important industries. The sugar industry in Guyana is the largest employer of working people in the entire Caribbean. And to have such a person who is unqualified academically and professionally, recommended and put into the air by relatives and friends, is an insult to the working people. It's an insult to Guyana. It's an insult to me personally too, because my people are sugar workers, or were sugar workers, from the very first day they stepped off the ship from Madras, India. We were all sugar workers. So.
Now, on that point, you mentioned Guyana now. We're about to have elections in another 2 weeks or so, on the 11th of May.
15 days from now.
15 days from now, to be exact. and the Guyanese diaspora here had the opportunity of attending some of the campaign functions held by both major parties contesting the election. What are some of your views? Have you attended any of those functions, and did you get a feedback from your friends and colleagues and people who attended? What are some of the sentiments they expressed?
It's a mixed feedback. Some of the older PPP supporters are still clinging to the PPP because of that fear that PNC will come back into power, the fear of crime, the fear of food shortages, etc., etc. They have that fear, so they're clinging to the PPP. There are others who, progressive, the younger folks especially, who have never witnessed or experienced the hardships under the PNC. A lot of the younger folks are beginning to see evidence of a change coming. Put it this way, guys my age, 65 plus, most of them are clinging to the old, oh, we can support. We don't want PNC to come back.
Are you clinging to them also?
No, I'm not. I'm for change.
You're for change?
You could read that anywhere you want. I'm for change.
I take this opportunity, Mr. Mel Carpen, to challenge you now. Please look at the ITV viewers and advise the Guyanese back home, through them, how you think would be best for them to vote in the upcoming elections.
I can't make up their minds for them, but
So your advice?
my advice to them is look critically at the two parties. I say two parties, APNU and AFC, that's a combination of about 6 or 7 parties. Look at the PPP and the coalition. Look at their programs. Look at their track records and make an honest reassessment of what has happened. One of the things I invited them to say is to look at carefully. The president is telling people that if they vote for the PPP Civic, the PPP Civic will pump $20 billion into the sugar industry to reorganize it. Hell, they have been in business. They have been in power, you know, for so many years, and still they haven't resuscitated the industry.
22 years.
No, you're right, 22, but the clique that has taken over the PPP has been in there since Jagdeo came to power. Dr. Jagan was on the right track for re-energizing the sugar industry. He was on the right track. The Carter Center looked carefully at Dr. Jagan's program, which included the sugar industry, and they were so impressed. They made a statement that they are so impressed and they think that Guyana could become the model for third world development. After Dr. Jagan's passed away, we started to see a dip in everything.
Mr. Carpen, I must interject here. The question was, the opportunity was for you to advise the Guyanese.
I know that.
How do you think they should vote
I'm just
best?
giving a background
Okay, sorry.
to this. Look carefully at the promises that are being made, and look carefully at the vision that is being shown. I would unhesitantly at this stage advise my viewers to vote for the coalition. I don't hide it. I don't sit on the fence. I'm a diehard, for many years, I'm a diehard PPP man. But things have changed. They haven't lived up to the promise. And they're lying to the people. They're lying. The Marriott, a few years ago, we were told that the Marriott was being financed among people, 3 secret investors. In the meantime, the money was coming from the state treasury.
That's a big lie.
That's a big lie, and I can't swallow that lie.
Very big. Yeah,
The
very,
leader of
very
our
big
party
lie.
and the founder of the movement in Guyana would not have gone for that lie.
That is nasty.
Because of that and some other things, there's no hesitancy. I advise folks to vote for the coalition.
Mr. Carpen, you are aware of some of the events, if not all, taking place in Guyana. We have heard of the opposition not passing or not agreeing for the funds to be, government funds to be spent on the Amelia Falls that should be able to produce electricity to make the industries in Guyana more viable and so on. They've also made some budget cuts on other issues, other projects in Guyana. Do you have any kind of information on that? Would you be able to share your views on those issues? Is that something correct or not?
I don't have.
Or is it being mispeddled somehow?
I don't have any inside information, but let's look critically at a couple of incidences. The opposition did not support the funding for the NCN. And when they had a closer look, there were no audits done, and people were put in the income. Some folks were put in the income of NCN into their own personal accounts. This is a fact, and up to today, those guilty of those offenses have not been brought to justice. Secondly, the specialty hospital. The opposition voted against the spending of money to continue the preliminary work in building the specialty hospital. It was found in retrospect that the person building, who had the contract to build the hospital, they can't find him. Even in India, they're looking for him. And so what the opposition did is they stopped the hemorrhaging of further funds from the coffers.
So you're talking about accountability here.
Accountability not there. I suggested last night to a friend of mine who you may know very well, this whole specialty hospital thing, take the Marriott and make it the specialty hospital. The rooms are there. All they have to do is make a section of the facility into labs, doctors' offices, x-ray departments. The parking is there, the facility is there. There's over 100 hospital rooms there. And I'm sure those rooms have beds.
Yes,
not like now, 2 pregnant mothers are sleeping on one bed at the Georgetown Hospital. We have the facilities there. These are the things that makes me very uneasy.
I think that's a very interesting suggestion you're making here.
It's a serious suggestion.
So Mr. Carpen is suggesting that we now talk to the viewers. He's suggesting to take the Marriott Hotel, since it's paid for already by taxpayers' money in Guyana,
Yes.
and convert, make that into the specialty hospital. You already have most of the facilities that are required for a specialty hospital in there. You just have to add a few more necessary departments. So that's an interesting suggestion. I hope that the Guyanese viewers in this program would be able to advise their respective representatives in the new government to take advantage of your ideas or to review your ideas.
If they want to do that, I could arrange for them to get a feasibility study free of charge to convert it. You know, I could arrange that. No cost to the Guyanese people. These are the little things here and there that makes me very uneasy. No accountability, blaming the opposition every time. I'm not saying the opposition are full of saints. I'm not saying everyone in the PNC who comprise that coalition are saints. What I'm saying is the coalition offers a new opportunity to move the country forward in light of the many lies that have been peddled on the Guyanese people by the present clique in office.
If I may say at this point, since you're talking about the coalition, some of my observations and research led me to understand some of the problems facing Guyana's economic development, which would include like productivity and efficiency. Productivity of labor in Guyana has been not at its highest, because when one party is in power, let's say the PNC was in power, the other party, the PPP supporters, felt left out, eliminated. So they would, yes, have a job, they will go to work, but they will not work to the best of their ability. The enthusiasm to perform to their best was not there, because they felt they should do like something to boycott this that government that is in power. When the PPP is in power, the other side feel the same way. We are going to go to work, but we are not going to do our best because, who are we working for? Those guys in power, we don't support them. And their leaders are telling them to do that. So the coalition might indeed create that environment whereby the workforce, the working people of Guyana, when they go to work, they will have enthusiasm. And enthusiasm in terms of the factors that increase productivity and efficiency is like very important. So I see if the coalition indeed works, you will have productivity and efficiency like double up, because both major races, representatives of the major parties would want to put all their efforts there. So you won't have one side working and one side pulling them down, so they come to like zero. You'll have both going up, one going up and the other, so you're going to have like productivity doubling up, which is good for economic development. What do you think about that?
I was about to, and I was wondering when you were going to ask me the question. In order to get Guyana back on track, and in view of the many ethnic backgrounds we have and many political persuasions, the fundamental challenge would be to change the political culture of our country. Give everyone a sense of being, a sense of belonging. This could only come with an all-inclusive approach to things. Take, for instance, crime. I think the crime situation should be handled by a national task force on crime, where the Minister of Home Affairs, the Commissioner of Police, the head of the GDF, and other people who are experienced in law enforcement should be part of that committee, with other interested civic parties. There should also be a task force on economic development. People from all of the ethnic backgrounds, all the political parties, all of the professional organizations should be there. Give everyone a chance. The church should be there too, as a moral, factor in these things. There should be standards set also with the implementation of these institutions. There should be standards set. Like in some countries, they usually have a 5-year economic development plan. At the beginning of the regime, plans should be made. Hey, this is our goal. This is how many people we would need to achieve this goal. Put those plans into place and periodically hold the people responsible for the implementation of that plan accountable. Guyana right now, we have ministers who have been there from day one. We have ambassadors who have been there since 1992. We have heads of departments who have been there for many, many years.
So they're not making space for the
younger people. They're not making space. They're not producing. The economy shows. Of course, you have nice houses. You have new schools. You have new semi-standard roads. But the culture is not there. You have good roads in certain areas, bad roads in other areas. The sugar industry is an example. The mining industry is an example. We have so much infighting among the ethnic groups in Guyana. We have the Brazilians coming in and taking over the mines. These are the things. You have to have the Guyanese mindset prepared to say we are all, we are all part and parcel of the pie. There's enough pie there for everyone. But the people administering the pie must be representative of all ethnic groups, all political groups. There must be standards set. There must be standards held to, accountability, and we have to fight racism and corruption. Those are the two ingredients mixed with the incompetence that is undermining our economic development.
Mr. Carpen, I'm sure you have been reading about the different programs put forward by both major political parties in Guyana for the upcoming, to win voters for the upcoming elections on May the 11th. Would you want to share some of your views on that? We are coming to the end of our interview now. And you can probably wrap it up all by looking at our viewers in the eye and give them, from your perspective, what you think is best for Guyana, what advice you have for them. Please, now is the time for you to do so.
I haven't read the different manifestos in depth, but I would advise our viewers, your viewers, to look seriously at both manifestos and hold those programs, compare those programs to the performance of the present government. You can't compare it to the opposition. They haven't been in office. The coalition hasn't been in office. But hold the PPP manifesto and compare it to the performance of the PPP the last 5-6 years, and look at the APNU-AFC manifesto, and look into your heart at that time and determine whether the vision is in the coalition's manifesto or the vision is in the PEP Civic Manifesto. You know, to go and vote is a sacred right. We fought for that for a long time. Make a wise analysis, look around, see who's making promises, see who haven't kept the promises of the past few years, and put your X next to the party of your choice. I can't tell you who to vote for, but don't waste the vote and vote wisely. If I was voting, I would have voted for the coalition.
Okay, once again, Mr. Mel Carpen, we want to thank you very much for that interesting version of your perspective. I'm sure you have other perspectives, and that is just one of the versions. So our viewers, I'm sure, will be digesting what you said there in this interview over the next couple of weeks, and probably that might help influence the activities in Guyana. Maybe they will make that specialty hospital indeed by converting the Marriott. So once again, thank you very much for coming to our interview, our studio here today, sir.
It's my pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you.
Take care.
Thank you for watching the program Inside Guyana. Our cameraman, on behalf of Mr. Ravi and our producer Prakash, would like to also thank you very much. Until next time, this is yours truly, Dr. Rudy Jadoopat, on the program Inside Guyana. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.